and welcome to AltaSea in the Port of Los Angeles. Give yourselves a big hand for being here. Thank you. And now all of those folks in the back, come on down and grab a seat. We're going to start our very exciting program today. My name's Terry Tamminen. I'm the president and CEO of AltaSea. And if you see folks in blue t-shirts or with these kind of name tags or maybe with one of these cool caps, that's somebody who works at AltaSea or is a volunteer. We have a lot of volunteers and we can't thank them enough because they do it for free. So let's hear it for the staff and volunteers of AltaSea. And I see Alex and Robin in the back there. You can encourage people to come on down. Let's get all the folks to come on down and get a seat. Janet, let's get everybody, tell everybody to move on down and take a seat. Well, I want to tell you just a little bit about AltaSea in case you don't know. So we are a nonprofit that was set up to take over this 240,000 square feet of 110-year-old warehouses. That's what you're sitting in here. These were originally built to take cargo from the Panama Canal that was brand new in those days. Yeah, a lot has changed. Well, then the Navy used these places in World War I and World War II. There's some pictures over here on my left of the submarine base that was here in World War I. The same thing in World War II, and then, of course, cargo for many, many years until containerized shipping changed everything, and shippers didn't need these kind of warehouses for their cargo anymore, so they sat empty for many years. And then now we've turned them into this hub for the blue economy. And what's the blue economy? It's things like aquaculture, which can happen on land in tanks with recirculating systems or out in the open ocean. And it's things like growing seaweed, kelp, giant kelp in California that grows as much as 2 feet a day, and then figuring out how to grow that commercially and then turn it into food and fuel and pharmaceuticals and all kinds of amazing things and a lot of new exciting jobs. It's things like wave and tidal energy. We have projects that are harnessing the abundant waves that we have out here into clean new energy. It's things like port decarbonization, helping our port to reduce emissions from all the diesel container handling equipment and so forth, turning that into electric or hydrogen electric. There's a big exhibit back there about how hydrogen is used in the maritime economy. You can see how it's used in cars and automotive, and that same technology will now be used right here in the port for container handling equipment. It's also things like underwater robotics and mapping and exploration, which you're going to hear a lot about today. Really exciting exploration of our oceans. And it's so important because the ocean really is our life. 70% of the planet is ocean. It's not land. And so we are really an ocean planet. Somebody says that we shouldn't be called Earth, we should be called Planet Aqua. And that's probably true. And we think that there are so many sustainable ways of using our ocean that can create great jobs and businesses of the future. So I want to welcome you all here. And now that I've vamped a little bit, I've given enough time for everybody to grab a seat. I want to introduce, as I mentioned, we've got a great team. They're wearing the blue shirts or these kind of name tags. But I want to particularly introduce one of the founders of AltaSea, my partner, Jenny Crusoe, right in the back there. Jenny, take a wave. Yeah, she deserves a big round of applause. And I believe we have harbor commissioners here today. Yolanda De La Torre, please stand up and wave. And I think Lee Williams is here somewhere. Lee, are you here? We'll give him a round of applause, and if he gets here later, we'll tell him that that happened. This is really an exciting open house. We do these 8 times a year, so if you're not signed up to get our newsletter, please check out one of our tables here that have our amazing team and sign up so that you get the notice when we have our open houses and other amazing events. Today is exciting because it's Earth Month, and we think every month ought to be Earth Month. And we're doing one thing too here, an electronic waste drive, and there's containers at the entrance if you brought your electronic waste, where we're going to help collect that and make sure it doesn't end up in landfills. Today is Career Day, so you're going to talk to our exhibitors about the blue economy and all the great jobs. We have our fall and spring intern recognition ceremony today, and so much more. I also want to recognize some of the youngest people in the crowd today, the Girl Scouts of Greater Los Angeles, Troop 06235, the Brownies. Could you all wave so everybody knows that you're here? Yeah, there you go. Let's hear it for the Brownies. Fantastic. And now, recognizing that this was not always a port, yes, these buildings are 110, 120 years old, but this was not always a port. Once upon a time, it was a village of the Tongva people. And so to recognize the land and the people that were here before and are still here, please welcome Dominic from the Tiat Society.
Yamtetame, Mirwan Achma. Welcome. Good morning. My name is Dominic Robles. I'm a member of the Gabrielino Tongva tribe and also a member of the Tiat Society. And we were the indigenous people, and still are the indigenous people, of the LA, Orange County, and Southern Channel Islands. I'm excited to be here at AltaSea next to our Tiat, our traditional lashed canoe, on a couple of reasons. One is AltaSea's physical location. Between here, there are two places. Pimu is our home island, and just north is Hemquilpit. And we have a lot of connection to the land, but to get to the island, we would have to go from our land to sea in the Tiat. So what she would do is she would convey goods and people would convey concepts, techniques. And I'm sitting here trying to think of this spot, and it dawned on me that functionally, the Tiat and AltaSea serve the same of conveying concepts, connecting people from places they wouldn't normally be. We have a Stone Age culture sitting right across from a deep sea rover. These things shouldn't happen in a natural state, but this place is a vessel transporting us all through knowledge and experience to get to the same spot. And me being a member of Tiat Society and of the Tongva people, respect the fact that AltaSea is acknowledging the people who were here and will still be here and work in conjunction with that. So personally, tribally, as me, Dominic, as a paddler from the Tiat Society and a member of the Gabrielino Tongva tribe, we're honored to share this space and this land and take this journey of learning with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dominic. And you can learn much more about the Tiat. You can take a good look there. It's an amazing piece of art and cultural icon. Before we get on with the rest of our program, I want to invite Alan Johnson to come on up to the stage here for a second and explain art. So as you've noticed, we use a lot of art here to try to inspire people about the ocean. Many artists are inspired by the ocean and have provided much of the work that you see around here. But Alan just provided us, at least on loan for a while, this amazing owl sculpture. So please, let's hear it for Alan Johnson.
Well, thank you, Terry. And thank you for giving the owl a home for a little while. Real quickly, it's sort of, I have been fascinated by owls. And in a conversation with Terry about a burrowing owl they had here, which I always thought that was like an owl that doesn't live in this tree or somewhere safe, that burrows, it just fascinated me. And so I had also had experience with owls on walks and stuff, and so I built these owl wings for a project that kind of didn't work, and then it evolved into this, and it's just been this fascination with owls and the way they can fly silently, you know, that sort of something just miraculous about the way nature produces these different things for different animals. And it's not really any particular owl, but it might look like a great horned owl, but those are not ears, I've come to learn. Like the ear is one here and like one here on an owl, something like that. And it's all about echolocating. And anyway, so thank you for the opportunity.
You know, I'm fairly new to San Pedro. I've been here for about 4 years, but my wife and I just moved to the community about 5 months ago. And now I get the chance to spend some time at night going to art exhibits and meeting more of the people. There's an amazing, vibrant art culture here in San Pedro, if you're not already familiar with that. Lots of opportunity to engage, but this is the best place to do it because it's ocean-inspired art. So thank you all for that. Well, now let's get into our main program. Megan Cook is the Director of Education and Outreach for the Ocean Exploration Trust and the exploration vessel Nautilus, which you may have seen docked here from time to time. Megan helps lead the efforts to uncover the largely unexplored 95% of our ocean. She connects global audiences to the excitement of deep sea discovery through education programs, which is very important to us here. We have thousands of school kids that come here every year on field trips, and they're very much engaged when they see these types of things. She does storytelling and partnerships and has led science communication on more than 35 deep sea expeditions. So she's the real deal. Please welcome Megan.
Thanks, Derry. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hey, there we go. I'm so happy to be with you today. Thank you, Terry, for that great introduction. Thank you, Dominic, for greeting us in this space and bringing the wisdom of the Tongva people to us on a Saturday morning where we want to learn a little bit about the ocean. I'm here with the great joy to learn how to use this clicker. Hey, there we go. Here representing the Ocean Exploration Trust, and this entire talk is an invitation. It is an invitation for you to join us in the big work, the very big work that we have left to do, which is understand our ocean, which means understand this planet. And there are ways for all of us to be involved in that. And so we want to bring you to the seafloor. This is one of our offices, one of my homes, the exploration vessel Nautilus, and we are a nonprofit organization, Ocean Exploration Trust, have partnered with AltaSea going on a decade. So as Terry mentioned, this is one of our homes here as well when we come into port in AltaSea. I want to tell you a little bit more about myself as I continue learning about the clicker. Technology is fun. That's our next lesson of today. Thanks, Alex. Hey, it's me. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I have the great joy, the coolest job description in the world, that I am an ocean explorer. As the Director of Education and Outreach for this team, we send our ship around the world, going places we have never been before on planet Earth, and bringing the rest of the world with us. We're clicking. I am a lover of enthusiasm, which is how I took my career from being a scientist. I'm trained as a biologist, a chemist, and a marine scientist. But along the way, I realized I was excited about telling people what we were doing, where I was going, why we were doing these things to learn about the planet, as I was about spreadsheeting the data out for months after an expedition. And my career slowly walked towards working in teams. Being a scientist means getting to work together with others, being creative, being collaborative, and thinking about solutions and problems. And if there is someone doing their work with great enthusiasm, I will join them on that journey no matter what. And I am also from the great oceanography state of Idaho. I am very proudly a potato. I grew up in the desert with an ocean nowhere nearby. The way the ocean was accessible to me was with a library card and with the help of great teachers. And so it's a tremendous joy for me to be able to open the ocean to others, to invite you to be part of our team exploring the ocean, and hopefully bring you on this journey. From thousands of miles away, I saw the ocean for the first time that I remember when I was basically after middle school, when I got hit by a sneaker wave and drugged down a beach, and I still love the ocean. So we're off and rolling. Ooh, whoa. There we go. I want to tell you a little about Ocean Exploration Trust. As a nonprofit, we have a 3-part mission. It is to go to places in the world's ocean that we have never been there before, which is most of the world's ocean. It is to seek out new discoveries. That means interdisciplinary work. If we don't know where, if we've never been where we were going before, you don't know what you'll find. So you have to put together a big and enthusiastic team with a lot of different knowledge to come together. So this work entails geology, biology, technology, computer sciences, cultural history, storytelling, all together. And we are very dedicated to our education and outreach programs, which will tell you a lot about. We broadcast everything we do 24 hours a day. So this is deep sea reality TV. And we want you to come along with us. So the exploration vessel Nautilus is the hub for this. And as the ship travels around the world, much like, who's seen Dora the Explorer, right? Yes, my brownies, Dora the Explorer. The first step of any adventure is a map. And when you go places we've never been before, we often have to make our own maps. So our approach to exploration begins with mapping the seafloor. It advances to sending robotic vehicles to the seabed to be our eyes and ears and carry our imagination into the deep sea. And then we share it with the world. We're specialists in going to the deep and dark places on Earth in the ocean. So if you can put on a mask and fins and snorkel, that's probably not the part of the ocean where we're working. We work in the places that are often very deep. We invite you to check out our ROVs, which can go to 4,000 meters, which is 13,000 feet, which is 40 football fields, however you like to measure. And our other pair of ROVs, which can go to 6,000 meters. Almost 20,000 feet, 60 football fields. So very deep down into the ocean. And yet all of that is right at your fingertips on Nautilus Live. So every expedition, 24 hours a day, wherever the ROVs are looking, we are streaming onto nautiluslive.org, where you can pick your own channels, you can check out a map of where we are, you can see real-time data, you can watch what we're seeing, and you can hear our team talking and write in your questions to us and be part of the dialogue. We want to hear from you, we want to talk with you. You can do this on your phone, and you can see a delightful creature like that. I'm very proud of the school that I went to. I'm a very proud Beaver from Oregon State University, where I got a wonderful education in biology, chemistry, marine biology. When I first started working for Nautilus Live, I had never worked in the deep ocean. And one of the things I still love the most about my job is that I am constantly learning, because no matter how many marine biology classes I had, when that creature popped up, I was like, ooh. And so did a lot of other people on the ship. And I think that's what's really fun about our work is no one person could be the expert on everything. So we have to work together and we have to learn together. This is a piglet squid. Let me introduce you to it. The piglet squid tentacles are actually up on top of its head, making very cool hairdos. And its body is actually filled with ammonia. So it has basically a built-in body float. It's its own little floating thing, and it swims with these little fins back here. And these are, in fact, its googly eyes. Put a googly eye on any creature, and I'm a big, big fan. Now, exploring the ocean is this realm that, there used to be, there be monsters. And there's a lot of things that we think about the ocean that are kind of spooky or scary. I find great joy in the deep sea. I find great connection. I find great curiosity in the deep sea. But I want to lean into that a little, that there are some myths. There are some misconceptions. And so I wanted to give you 3 myth conceptions that we could walk through about the deep ocean as you join us as explorers. Some things that we know and that we don't know still about the deep ocean. So myth conception number 1. Myth conception number 1 is that we already know what Earth looks like. Okay. all of us carry these incredible mapping devices in our phones, right? They're in our pocket. We can open them up. We can look at anywhere in the world. You can zoom in and find the nearest coffee place. You can figure out the fastest way to get to school or get to home or get to wherever you're going. We've all seen a globe. We're all pretty sure that this planet, has dry, dusty parts and blue, soggy parts. But have you ever gone out into the ocean and like zoomed in and zoomed in and zoomed in, and then pretty soon it gets kind of blocky and weird? Yeah. That is because we are still making the very first high detail map of Earth. We've never finished the job of making a map of Earth yet at high resolution. Today, we only have 27% of our ocean mapped in a modern resolution. Everywhere in blue is a track where there is high resolution data, and everything in white is data that is still missing from our global map. Now, we have some wide data. We have some approximations. We have some very generalized types of data in those spaces, but we're still missing 100,000 mountains from our global map that, based on the calculation and mass of the Earth, we know are there, but we cannot place here. So if you want to be a famous explorer, we got a lot of work left to do. Now, if you were coming today to AltaSea to enjoy this wonderful event, you might have pulled out your phone and pulled up a map and zoomed in on this place here. But if this was the resolution of many of those white spaces left in the map, this would have been as good as your map was, which I might have had a hard time finding a place to park or figuring out where to set up my table with a map like this. So part of being an ocean explorer is literally charting the maps and making the maps. We do this with a hull-mounted multi-beam system. It's on the bottom of our ship, and it works like echolocation, like a bat. It sends sound down to the seabed. You very precisely measure the time it takes for that sound to bounce back. But instead of sending one ping like a fish finder would, you send hundreds of pings in a fan. Those bounce back, and that's called bathymetry. And with a computer software, it can put together all of that data into 3D visualizations. And now, if we're all explorers, we can make some decisions. We can decide where we might want to go next, what we might want to learn next. If I was studying past climate, or I wanted to know about layers of sediments, maybe I'd come down here with an ROV, and maybe I'd check out some of what's happening here. If I wanted to learn about deep sea corals or study currents, maybe I'd be up there at the top of one of those cliffs, and I'd want to learn a little bit more about maybe that volcano or that rift. But a map is step one. Seafloor mapping can basically remove the water and give us those detailed, beautiful images of what the Earth actually looks like. This is the Mariana Trench in the Western Pacific, the islands of Guam, and the Arc of the Mariana Islands moving up. One of the most volcanically and tectonically active areas in the world, the oldest seamounts in the world, the skin of the planet being recycled. And all that is only possible with the technologies of seafloor mapping. We can make some cool discoveries. So I promised you some Nautilus discoveries. Mapping systems not only can tell you the shape of the seafloor, but they sometimes can pick up these clues of what's happening above the seafloor as well. These are volcanoes in the Western Pacific, and these little plumes at the top of each are actually gases being released. So with a mapping tool, this is a clue that a volcano is active underwater. So once you have a map, you can decide where you want to go, right? So this is a mountain called AltaSea Mount underwater, and we decided that we wanted to go there and see what was happening. This is a dive from last year by remotely operated vehicle ROV Hercules on AltaSea Mount. And all of those bubbles rising from the seafloor are carbon dioxide gas. This is the planet actually venting hot fluid out of the top of a volcano. And you can see it looked like champagne or like a fun bubble machine on the seafloor. Absolutely incredible. All right, so myth conception number one, we don't have a map of Earth, but we're working on it. And you can be part of it too. Myth conception number two. All right, if I asked you to imagine the bottom of the seafloor, be honest, how many people saw mud in their head when they just thought that? Sand, brown, little bleak, little alien. All right, myth conception number two, let's tackle that. I thought the same thing. I was like, the seafloor's probably brown. It's probably bleak. It's probably a little empty. We hear this deep sea is a desert. The deep sea doesn't have much in it. But we prove that wrong time and time again as we explore the rich habitats that are on the seafloor. I want to invite you out to Papahanaumokuakea, the northwest Hawaiian Islands. This is about 1,000 miles west of Honolulu, and this is another underwater mountain. This is a seamount. And it turns out that seamounts are absolute gardens, oases of life in the deep sea. Every single thing you see here is an animal. These are deep sea corals, these are deep sea sponges, sea stars, Brisingid stars. And corals are incredible in the deep ocean because these are corals that don't use sunlight. It's dark all the time here. They catch all of their food with their polyps, just waiting for the currents to go by, which isn't a way to get a huge meal. So they have these life cycles that grow very slowly and very long. We know there are individual corals in the deep sea that are more than 4,000 years old, which means that animal was growing before, the Babylonians invented math. So, animals that are older than that. And these coral forests just go on and on in the deep sea, and we find them. So this inspires in me a tremendous desire to care for these places, to learn about these places. And in the same way, a coral reef or a kelp forest helps support all the other animals that live around. It gives habitats, places for animals to live, places for animals to hide, places for other animals to hunt. Deep sea coral forests do the same thing, and we find incredible colors of life. So the next time someone says hey, I don't know, it's kind of brown and muddy down there. Yes, there are places where there are mud, but there are also places that are rainbows of life, millennia old. This is a sponge that is made of glass. I understand this is plexiglass, but if you tapped on that sponge, it would feel like a pane of glass. And then all those animals, it's not a face hugger from Hollywood. It is a basket star. So that is a cousin of a starfish right there. Absolutely incredible. And if you need one more really cute animal, let me introduce you to Bathylotus. This is a sea cucumber. And it is a sea cucumber that is about the same size as a Cocker Spaniel. Yeah. Yeah, so it's okay. It's a little bigger than it is in life size, but this thing would be yay big or so. Spikes, yay big. And just in case you need to be weirded out, if you do want a weird kind of gross, fun ocean fact, every bit of sand in the ocean has been through a sea cucumber at least once. Sea cucumbers eat, they don't have great table manners. They eat by, you can imagine kids, try this at home. They lick their hands and then they jam their hands on their plate of food and it sticks to their hands and then you stick your whole hand in your mouth and you do that. And if you do that over and over again, you too are eating like a sea cucumber. I am not invited to Thanksgiving. That's, but yes, absolutely incredible animals live in the deep sea. And we think there's about 2.2 million species in the ocean, and we have named 200,000 of those. So we have named the 0.2 out of the 2.2 million animals that are in the ocean. We're still discovering species in the deep sea regularly. Oh, no. Oh, and then everyone wants to know my favorite, so I'm just getting it out of the way first. This is my favorite. It's a Chaunacops anglerfish. This is the pout-pout fish from your book, from your kid's book, and it is an ambush predator that looks perpetually grumpy and lives on the seafloor. I'd love to tell you more about them, so come see me afterwards. But let's go on to myth conception number 3. And myth conception number 3 is that explorers live in history books. And this was my own myth conception that I want to tell you about, right? So when I was a kid, I didn't really know anyone worked in the ocean. And then from a storybook, I learned that marine biologist was a job. And I was kind of well, I guess that's the only thing that works in the ocean. So I guess I'll do that. And I think if you'd asked me to draw an explorer, it definitely would have involved like a hat made out of a raccoon, probably, and it would have been someone like pointing somewhere. But I want to tell you that the greatest generation of explorers are these brownies right here. They're the people in the room. The best explorers this world will ever know are yet to come. And I have the enormous privilege of getting to work with some of them, but I want to work with more of them, and I want you to be one of them as well. Our team has really remarkable people on it, and our mission is that we want to help role model and inspire this next generation that is going to care for this planet, learn about the planet faster than we've ever been able to before, more urgently than we've ever been able to before, and bring people along on inspiring their journeys to love and care about the ocean. But being an explorer doesn't mean one thing. Whatever your great love is, whatever your great passion is, you can bring that and connect that to the ocean. So on our team, to be an explorer, you could be an inventor, you could solve problems, you could create things. Mike is a mechanical engineering student. This is a very creepy tool built by NASA to learn about the ocean. It helped us hold on to rock walls in the idea that we'd learn about how to sample asteroids. That discovery started in the ocean. You could be a scientist like Kukui. You could learn about animals. You could care about connecting your culture, the way that we have learned about and cared for our planet for a long time, and the way that we can use science to help perpetuate those practices. You could be a storyteller. We broadcast 24 hours a day, and so we need people to run the satellite systems on board. You could be like Robert and do that work. You could be an educator like Annie. You could be an artist and be a deep sea explorer. And you don't have to wait till you have some fancy number of degrees or you get a certain age to do this work. We will pay you to come on Nautilus and be an intern with us as soon as you are done with high school. It could be community college, it could be trade school, it could be a college if it's a path for you. You can explore with us 24 hours a day, and we want you to be there, experiencing the ocean and building your path. There are over 1,600 people that have sailed on Nautilus. They come from all 50 states. They've come from 52 countries. They speak different languages at home. They have different families. Everyone can be part of our team and bring their knowledge and experience here. If you want to learn more about that, you can visit nautiluslive.org, where you can take our BuzzFeed-style quiz and figure out what kind of job on the ship would be yours, and get inspired to come along with us. There's also interviews with an expert. There are features of every single person who's been on our team answering questions like, what advice would you give to somebody who wants a job like yours? What job did you have before this job? I was telling Terry over here, I was once an underwater garbage cleaner upper lady. So yeah, I was an underwater garbage man before I had this job. I've also been a bartender. There's a lot of things that we've all done along the way, and each of your paths can be unique and celebrated, and the things you learn can feed you on this path of learning about our planet, caring about our planet. So encourage everyone, but especially the young explorers in the room, to check out nautiluslive.org and figure out how they would like to get involved. This is where we're going this year, so I want to invite you to come with us. Send in your questions, be curious with us. The ship will come here and then head to Honolulu. We will map across the Pacific, crossing ocean that has never been mapped before. We will work in the oldest seafloor and most volcanically and tectonically active region in the world, in the Marianas and Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas and Guam. We'll visit Wake Island, which is the most isolated landmass on Earth, home of hundreds of underwater mountains which have never been visited, and for our history buffs, also a very historical place from the Second World War where we have a lot to learn about the history on the seafloor. And we will end our season back in the Hawaiian Islands, working both in the ancestral home of the Kanaka Oiwi, the native Hawaiian people, in Papahanaumokuakea, a massive marine protected area in U.S. waters, and also in surrounding seamounts that have never been visited before. And again, I say we get to do this, but you get to do this too. We will be on 24 hours a day, and we want you right along with us. You can be making discoveries exactly at the same time our team and all the experts are, sending in the questions, talking with our interns, talking with our students, and inspiring your own connection with the majority of the planet, which happens to be deep, dark, and salty. So this is how you can follow along, and we hope you will. If there are educators in the room, we also host a lot of programs where we would love to connect with your students in your classrooms. Lots of ways to follow along, and also I'll just quick plug for the table back there. There are cards and stickers that have all these details as well at the table right back in the back corner. And there is a photo booth, so you can take your own photo in the control room and tell everyone you got on Nautilus this weekend. But I would be delighted to answer your questions, but before that, I just want to extend my huge thanks again for your love and care for the ocean. I want to invite you to extend that love, care, and curiosity for the ocean down into the dark corners of it, which don't always get the same attention as our beaches and our close-to-home ocean backyards. Our ocean makes this planet what it is. It keeps us healthy, it keeps us fed, it keeps us connected, and learning and inspiring that curiosity is a great way that you can keep giving back to that ocean as well. So thank you for the great joy of getting to share with you, and I can't wait to hear what you're curious about. Absolutely, I'd be happy to. So the question was about Ocean Exploration Trust was founded by Dr. Robert Ballard, one of the legendary explorers of our time, who would also love to be replaced by explorers who will come after him. He also believes the next generation of explorers will far or surpass that. Many people know Bob from discovering the Titanic, the final resting place. One of the great things about going into the deep sea is, like I mentioned, you don't know what you're going to find. So when we go to places that have geological importance, biological importance, they also have history. And OET does visit places that we go and can explore into the past. Just last year, we had the great honor of going to the Solomon Islands, where the island of Guadalcanal and the battles of Guadalcanal were fought. We surveyed 14 World War II shipwrecks that were sunk in Iron Bottom Sound in the 5 battles of Guadalcanal. That work is important both to honor the service and sacrifice of those service members all that time ago, keep alive those stories, but also to assess how those wrecks are changing over time. They've been on the seabed nearly 80 years. And so understanding how biological communities are growing or are not growing, how corrosion is changing the seabed. I think this reel might have one of my favorite ships, which is the USS Independence off the California coast, which was intentionally sunk in the 50s and now is this vibrant deep sea coral oasis. We do anticipate having a little bit of World War II archaeological exploration this year. At Wake Island, the Battle of Wake Island in 1941 was fiercely fought. It was the first warships of the Second World War which were sunk outside Pearl Harbor. The first Japanese ship that was sunk in the Second World War was sunk at Wake. It has not been located. The way you locate something like that is you map the seafloor, and we think we may have a location of where that ship is. So tune in August for that if you are a history buff. But if you are a history buff, know that the deep sea is the biggest museum. Take every museum you can ever think of, combine them all together, and the deep sea would absolutely dwarf that. There are 3 million shipwrecks waiting to be found in the deep ocean. And so we are not going to run out of work, and we need you all to be explorers and join with us. Yeah.
Hi. Okay. My name is Vic Christensen. I'm actually, I have been in Guam. Didn't get to dive the Mariana Trench,
Ooh.
but that would have been fun.
Yeah.
I'm a lifetime San Pedran, and just on the side looking for a job. So if you need a technical editor, technical writer,
Okay.
let me know. I'd like to talk to you about that. One kind of joking question is, have you mapped the Bermuda Triangle ocean floor to see what might be there?
Ooh, good question.
And the more serious question is, you mentioned the deep sea coral.
Yes.
With the problems that are going on with what I'll call the sunlit coral, is there anything that can be done with the deep sea coral to help possibly repopulate, for lack of a better term, gene splicing or something to help the sunlit coral survive? when there apparently is so much deep sea coral around that it's not really, it doesn't appear to be in danger, but I could be wrong because, maybe something is going on that's causing problems down deep too.
Sure. Yeah, great questions. Thank you for them both. Nautilus has traveled all over the world. When we first got the ship, coming up on 20 years ago, it was in the Mediterranean and the Black Sea, and we've slowly moved our way west. We skipped the Bermuda Triangle, but what I can tell you is that there is enormous shoaling, and shoaling is just our science jargon for when extremely deep water transitions to really shallow water and back again. So the Bermuda Triangle region is one of the most turbulent sets of oceans because there is an absolute fire hose of global currents going over an extremely bumpy and turbid part of moving from the deep Gulf and the deep Atlantic up over the, Bermuda and the Bahamas, which are extremely shallow. So myth conception, we haven't mapped there, but there's a lot to it. Deep sea corals and shallow water corals is an excellent question. We do know that they're very related, but they make their living in quite different ways. Shallow water corals have the help of plants to get sugar. So plants like trees are there, little tiny plants in their cells. They get sunlight, they photosynthesize and make sugar, and then they share that sugar with their coral friend who's giving them a safe place to live inside its cells. When they bleach, all those little plants go away. Deep sea corals never have any sunlight, so they can't make sugar with the help of their friends. They don't have any plants inside their cells. So moving a deep sea coral into shallow water would probably not work in that it wouldn't really know how to make a living, and they're very adapted for the extremely cold waters of the deep sea, about 34 degrees most places where they are. But we do know they're biologically related, and so there certainly is a lot to learn in corals that are different specialists that live kind of in the middle, mesophotic corals, corals that can make their living without quite as much sunlight and can handle a little bit different water temperatures. And so there is a lot of research, not by our group, but kind of looking at those transitions of which corals are hardiest and which corals may do the best in the future scenarios. But yeah, thanks. Great question. There is also some work that's really interesting about replanting deep sea corals after the Deepwater Horizon spill, in particular in the Gulf of Mexico. So some interesting stuff happening there
I
too.
was wondering if there was a way to slowly move them up in depth and my work.
Yeah, I'd love to continue that. Sure, yeah. Let's go.
My name is Richard Havenick. I'm a newcomer to San Pedro after only 25 years. So, Terry, welcome. And welcome to AltaSea, man. This is so great. So thrilling every time. Thank you. Actually, a newcomer here as well. But thanks to you. Thanks to Oregon State for putting out so many solid oceanographers and studiers of the ocean.
Thank you.
Thanks to Ballard. A couple of nerdy questions, not as scientific as smart as my wonderful man that preceded me, but on the map, mid-Pacific, around the equator, the area that has been mapped, is that the Tuamotus, and
Question.
is it the Marquesas? I want to jump on board, but I already been there. No. So what was that?
Good question.
Mid-Pacific around the equator. It's already been mapped, and everything else is not.
I think we can take a look at it. Happy to take a look at the graphic itself, but I think it's probably Hawaii. So that kind of spaghetti map is...
It was to the southeast of
Okay.
Hawaii.
Yeah, nations, that map is constructed by dedicated research expeditions that go out, but also, you get to see different national priorities. Japan has mapped almost all of its ocean because that is a priority as a nation. The technology exists. The will is what we need. So different countries' EEZs or ocean outlines you'll see are more filled in than others, and I'm happy to take a look at it with you. Yeah.
And then the Ballard and some of the Nautilus in some of those shots. This is really nerdy and sorry, but it's in some of them she's lighter, and in others she's. So what's so heavy that makes that distinction where she's shallow in some and riding on her lines in others. Do you?
Yeah, really great question. It's how much fuel is in her and how much water is in her. So one of the things that's fun about going to sea is when you pull in, we fill the ship up with fuel, we fill the ship up with food, we fill the ship up with water, although we can make our own, and then off you go for 3 to 4 weeks without coming back into port. So you probably saw her, you don't have to fill it up with fuel every time, but a couple different times. Yeah, let's go here.
Okay, my first question is, as you're mapping, if you come across things like barrels of toxic waste
Yes.
and things like that that are just spewed everywhere, what do you guys do with that information?
Yeah, all the data we collect is publicly available. You can see any of that data, and it is shared with all researchers in any countries worldwide because we need so many more people than just the 50 minds that are on the ship to know what to do. So depending on where we are, there's, something like toxic waste, there's absolutely a reporting chain that you would pass that to EPA and international partners. Seafloor mapping is how they found the barrels, the DDT barrels here off Southern California.
And then my other question is,
Okay.
sure?
I'd love it, and if you have more, I'm happy to answer more. Please come and chat with me.
This is going to sound a little bit nerdy, but in theory,
Let her rip.
could you use CRISPR on coral to make it more adaptable to the changing climate?
Great question. Yes, absolutely. If you could identify the genetic sequences, the genes, and the prolongation of those genes, because like having it in your DNA is one thing, but is the DNA expressed and how is it? So sounds like you are an epigeneticist in the making, and that might be a project that you could work on. So if we know what parts of the genetic code would help the most with that temperature, absolutely, you could get creative, test your hypothesis, run some trials, and see what happens. Come talk to me later. I want to hear the next question.
We've got more to get to, but
Thank you, Terry.
let's give Megan a great big round of applause. And I apologize for cutting off those great questions. I know there's more, and I know Megan will stay all day and all night as long as somebody has a question. And it's so great to see everybody engaged. Thank you for asking those questions, and I know there's more, so please do that. But we have more exciting things in the program, and so I now want to introduce Janet Parga for our intern recognition. Where is Janet? Janet, there she is, right behind me.
Thank you, Terry, and good morning. Is it still morning? Yes, I think so. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It's really nice to see this space full and to have all of you here to support our interns. I want to briefly highlight that this academic year, between the fall and the spring, we hosted 32 interns across 3 programs: AltaSea's internship, our partnership with Long Beach City College and their Climate Action Fellowship, and the College Corps at Cal State Dominguez Hills. All of these students you see here put in over 4,200 hours between last September through now. What stands out more than the number is their growth. Watching people come in, figure things out, gain confidence, and really start to see what they're capable of has been the best part. Today, I want to recognize you and your accomplishments. Your impact goes beyond AltaSea. I want to note and also thank Senator Laura Richardson, who couldn't join us today, but she has continuously demonstrated her support and recognition of our future leaders. You're getting this as a surprise, but Senator Laura Richardson sent certificates in recognition of your accomplishments. To my interns or alumni, please come up to the stage as I call your name. To our guests, I ask that you please hold your applause until after all names have been called. So, here we go. Nuha Al-Bashir, Alex Del Rio, Caroline Gass, Nicholas Nance, Lulu Rosenfeld, Zachary Upson, Idenia Ayala, Alex Campos, Suellen Diaz, Catherine Handon Lopez, Daniel Mariscal Jr., Larissa Martin, Moselle Monson, Aaron Props, Jalen Rosas, Joshua Sheldon, Rania Solomon, Mark Tomlin, Ryan Whitener, Brooke Ye, Shar King, Manuel Ochoa Retamosa, and Ariel Schilling. Come on, guys, fill the stage. Getting closer. We've known each other for a year. Thank you, guys. We'll swap it over. You guys will go. Thank you, guys. So for a lot of our interns, this isn't just the end of an experience, it's also a step to what comes next. As Megan mentioned, there's a lot of interdisciplinary sections, and we hope that this helped them to explore some of the avenues. Thank you for showing up, for putting in effort, and for growing into this moment. You've all really earned it. That's why having the career fair here and the project showcase behind you, all here together matters. It's a chance to not only see what you've been working on, but also start making those connections and thinking about career opportunities available. I invite all of our guests here to walk around. I encourage you to talk to our alumni, check out their projects, and read about their experiences and what they've learned. There's a lot of work that goes behind what you see today, and I thank you all for being here and for being their support. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet, and please give these amazing students one more round of applause. We often talk about the future explorers and the future workers in the blue economy and the researchers, and that's who they are. And Janet herself was once an intern here at AltaSea and now has the job of organizing our interns and student programs. And the whole team, we really thank you all. Well, so this brings this program to a close, but definitely not all of the programming that you see around you. We have all of our wonderful community partners that have tables where you can learn so much more about the ocean and the blue economy. The Chadwick Blue Artists in Residency Walls on Wheels art exhibit and display is located at the entry to the hall. Behind me is the Pegasus School Sustainability Cool Globes and the students who designed them. And so please visit all of these, take some time and learn more and become a volunteer. And the last thing I want to mention is, I bet throughout the whole last hour you've been saying to yourself, where could I get a cool cap like the one that Terry is wearing? Well, right over here, there's Chanella. Chanella, wave. Say wave, everybody. We've got volunteers over here that will help you join and become part of our AltaSea family. We are a nonprofit. We appreciate your support, but also flying the flag and letting everybody know that you agree with our slogan that our future is blue. Come back May 18th, which is in about 4 Saturdays from now, where we'll have our next open house with author David Helvarg's new book about the ocean and Suntex Marina talking about how boating can be cool and green as well. Thank you all for being here.